Our next story is about Christianity and a shift that has been quietly happening for years. For centuries, Europe was the heart of the Christian world. Its cathedrals, its churches, its institutions defined the faith. But that is no longer the case, it seems. Today, more Christians live in Africa than anywhere else in the world. In fact, nearly 1 in 3 Christians on the planet now lives in Sub-Saharan Africa. Meanwhile, Europe and America have seen their shares drop. So how did this shift happen, and what does it mean? Here's a report.
Look at a map of Christianity today, and it looks nothing like it did a generation ago. The faith that once defined Europe is now finding its strongest roots elsewhere. In Africa, the continent is now home to more Christians than any other region in the world. According to the Pew Research Centre, about 31% of the world's Christians now live in Sub-Saharan Africa. Europe accounts for roughly 22%. In 2010, Europe still had the largest share, but by 2020, Africa had overtaken it. This is a shift that few saw coming. But there is more to this story. Christianity is growing in total numbers. It rose from about 2.1 billion in 2010 to 2.3 billion in 2020. But its share of the global population has actually slipped. Muslims and the religiously unaffiliated have grown faster, and the regional breakdown tells you exactly why. Sub-Saharan Africa's Christian population reached about 697 million in 2020. Europe's Christian population, meanwhile, fell to about 505 million. And in North America, it declined to roughly 238 million. The reasons are both demographic and cultural. Africa has younger populations and higher birth rates, so the faith is growing because families are growing. In the West, the opposite is happening. Older populations and lower fertility rates have slowed growth in Europe and North America. Additionally, fewer people are choosing religion at all. In the United States, the Christian share of the population dropped by over 14 percentage points between 2010 and 2020. Australia saw a decline of about 20 points. When compared, Africa tells a different story entirely. Religious identity remains strong across much of the region. Christian communities are expanding in countries such as Mozambique, Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, and Kenya. This didn't happen overnight. The roots of this go deep. Christianity first reached North Africa in the early centuries after Jesus Christ. It spread through trade routes and early missionary work in places like Egypt. Centuries later, European colonial missions expanded Christianity across sub-Saharan Africa. But local communities didn't just adopt the faith, they made it their own. Local churches grew, adapted, and took hold in ways that outlasted colonial rule entirely. Today, many of the world's fastest-growing Christian congregations are based there. So Africa is no longer just receiving this faith, it is driving it. Christianity is still the world's largest religion, but its strongest growth is now in the global south. Its historic base in Europe and the Americas is shrinking as a share of the population. The story is not one of decline or rise alone. It is a story of movement. A faith that once spread outwards from Europe is now finding its fastest growth elsewhere. And that shift is reshaping the global religious landscape.
በስመ አብ ወወልድ ወመንፈስ ቅዱስ አሐዱ አምላክ አሜን።